I review a lot of photographers' websites, and I have compiled a list of 10 of the common mistakes I see on fashion photographers' websites, and I'm going to run through them quickly now because some of these are so quick and easy for you to fix and will make a huge difference. So buckle up, get your website open, and as you listen to this or watch this, check if your website is making any of these mistakes. Number one, this is the biggest mistake I see far too many people making, and it's such an easy fix. Repeating the same outfit a million times. And what I mean by that is having 5 images. What I mean by that is having 3, 5, sometimes 10 images, all featuring the exact same outfit. Now, I want you all to think about opening the pages of a magazine and asking yourself, do you see on all the images of every editorial the same outfit repeated? No. There is only ever one image of an outfit each time. So going forward, I want you, when you're posting images to your website, to make sure that you only add one image of one outfit maximum. I know it's difficult because so many of you say to me, I can't shoot 8 outfits in a day. I can only shoot 2 outfits. If you can only shoot 2 outfits, you can only post 2 images. Unless you have a really big full body and then a really close up that you really cannot tell it's the same outfit twice. Why can you not have the same outfit repeated? When you add more than one image that looks too similar, you dilute the impact of every single image. However, when you have one image of one outfit that stands out all on its own, it is so much more impactful. It really catches the eye. But when you put it next to 3 other images that might be a similar pose, a similar outfit, it loses its impact. It just blends in. And it's such a shame because sometimes the strongest image in your portfolio is being lost because it's surrounded by images that are too similar. So be uber critical. One rule you can set yourself is that you have one outfit and one image per that outfit and stick to that. I promise you your website will be so much more impactful as a result. Talking about images on your websites, often there are just too many of them. There are far too many images on most photographers' websites. I struggle with this myself. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I can always be cutting down the amount of images that are on my website. However, you want to be probably keeping your images on your website on the main pages to 25 to 30. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's much, much, much more. Again, we're going for impact. It's much more impactful to only share 20 strong images than it is to share 50 mediocre ones. Pick your very best work. I promise you, having 15 of your absolute most perfect images is going to get you hired so much more than showing 100 not so good ones. Another error I see all the time is no about page. No bio at all about who you are. I see contact pages, I see portfolio pages, but the amount of times I don't see an about page is wild. And do you know what the most clicked page on any website is beyond the main homepage? It's the about page. Why? Because people want to know who you are. People want to know who is behind the business. So tell them, show them, create an about page that is completely separate to your contact page. I do not want to see another about/contact page ever again. They have to be separate because they are doing 2 different things. Your about page is telling someone who you are, and your contact page is telling them how they can reach you. Make them 2 pages, please. On the about page, include a photo of you. Please add a photo of you. You are a photographer. And if you do not have a photo of you, we're wondering what you look like. We're wondering who you are. So please add a photo of yourself. It's so quick and easy to do. It doesn't have to be this glossy, amazing image. It can be an iPhone selfie if you really must, but people want to know what you look like. People buy from people they know, like, trust, so help them know, like, and trust you by adding a photo of yourself. Funny enough, my next point is some people don't have a website at all. No website. It's just Instagram. And I recently saw an account on Instagram doing Q&A with a bunch of producers and art directors, and I can't remember I think it was called No Gatekeeping or something. I'll add a link to the account in the show notes. But they asked people if they still wanted websites or if Instagrams were enough, and 90% of them said they still wanted websites. So you have to have a website still. It doesn't have to be anything really fancy. It doesn't have to have tons of interactivity. In fact, it shouldn't have interactivity. Get a simple page up. It can be 1 or 2, it can have 3 pages. A portfolio page, an about page, and a contact page. As long as you have those 3 things, your website will be serving you. It doesn't have to cost you a fortune. You can get websites for super, super cheap now. I don't care what service you use, but I think you still need to have a website. So if you don't currently have one, make one. I promise you will be so much more successful as a fashion photographer if you have a website. Another error I see all the time is too many pages. It's either that there's too many images on one page or there's 15 pages of images, and no one has time to navigate that many pages on a website. You've got to remember that the people who are looking at your work are busy and they are short on time, and they are not going to wait around digging through your website to find your work. Make your website easy to navigate. Please keep it simple. We need our websites to be really simple and really easy to navigate, and have it be all about the images. So have 1 or 2 pages of work, maximum 3, but don't have tons of pages for every single different project you've done, showing every single piece of work you've ever created. Keep your website simple. I also occasionally, not so often, but I do occasionally see websites which are focused on photography, but have walls of text on them, sort of detailing exactly what the project was or talking in depth about the work. And more often than not, these walls of text are above the images, which just means that people are not seeing your images first. And whilst some text can be useful to explain what a project was, why you do it, keep your text to just a few lines. Again, quick to navigate, easy to skim. That is what you want your website to be. So no walls of text. You cannot have paragraphs of text on your photography website. We are not writers, we are photographers. If you are in a completely different field to this, you can ignore my advice. But this is what I have found to be most effective for me in the long term. This is a big mistake that I see a lot. It's not adding where you are in the world. The amount of websites I reviewed that just don't tell anyone where you are. Where do you live? What market do you serve? Are you in America? Are you in the UK? Are you in Spain? Where are you? Make it really clear where you are. Just simple. Add a location. On your about page preferably, say where you are. You will get more work. Promise. Contact forms. I have personally taken my contact forms down and written out my email address on my contact page. I find that people just want to copy and paste your email address into an email. So you can have a contact form if you want to, experiment, see if you get a lot of inquiries through yours. I never really did, so I've taken mine down and everyone just contacts me with my email address. But that being said, make sure your email address is easy for people to access, easy for people to read and see. And finally, my final point is keep your website simple. I know I've said this already in this episode, but it is so important your website is simple. It is so easy to get carried away with crazy templates and exciting colors and interactivity. And yes, those websites are fun and they're cool, but they do not serve us. You want your images to be front and center. You do not want your images to be distracted by crazy gimmicks. So if you can, simple website. You can have a little bit of branding, of course, but make it super simple. The more boring a website for photographers, for fashion photographers, the better, I say. I really hope that's been helpful. If you have any other questions about a website and what it should look like for a fashion photographer, let me know and I will happily answer your questions. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.